Today we have updates on Scream 7, Terrifier 3, Crawl 2, and so many more other horror projects. Oh my god, let's get into it. Hey everybody, I'm Killjoy Jake, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. Before we talk updates, make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel. It helps out immensely, and I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you all again. Now let's get into the updates. Two new video games have been announced for the Halloween franchise. They come from the same studio that brought us the Evil Dead game, Boss Team Games. I really loved the Evil Dead game, so I hope this one doesn't die immediately upon release like that one did. Yikes. IGN reveals that one of the games is being developed in Unreal Engine 5, and with the assistance of original director John Carpenter himself. We all know how much the master of horror loves his video games, so this should be especially good. Where's the Dead Space movie, by the way? In a brand new statement from John Carpenter, he says, "As a huge gamer myself, I'm thrilled to help bring Michael Myers to life again in this game, and my hope is to scare you silly. The new game will apparently allow fans to relive moments from the film and play as classic characters from one of the most iconic and important horror films of all time." The article doesn't go into detail much on Game 2, but this first one sounds epic. Are you all excited for a Halloween game that's using Unreal Engine 5? Let me know in the comments below. Your boy will be playing this one on my new gaming channel Golgotha as soon as it drops. I think every weird subgenre in horror has its fans. Some folks love every vampire, werewolf, monster, or zombie flick that comes out from concept alone. I think everyone has one of those subgenres that they just love, even the bad ones. For me, my undying love for alligator and crocodile films will never burn out. I absolutely loved 2019's Crawl for not only being a phenomenal suspense thriller, but for having some killer special effects. I'm so excited to announce that Alexander Aja is back to direct the sequel Crawl 2. It's no surprise that the Kaya Scodelario's creature feature is getting a continuation. That first one scared up $91 million at the box office against a $13 million budget. That's awesome. I've been singing this one's praises since I saw it. It's a must-watch for fans of animal horror. A sequel has been in talks since the original was a surprise hit. Some of y'all forget that Alexander Aja has some bangers under his belt, like High Tension, the Hills Have Eyes remake, even the Piranha 3D kind of remake continuation thing. Aja is back to direct the sequel, but there has been a shift in the writer's room. Replacing the Rasmussen brothers is Andrew Deutschman and Jason Pagan. The latter's biggest credit is Paranormal Activity Ghost Dimension, which doesn't bode well for the story. But let's see what these fellas got. Besides, what we do know about the story sounds pretty cool so far. THR reported this weekend that Crawl 2 will feature an all-new cast and a new location, the Big Apple. New York City, baby! After Scream 6 recently utilized this setting to its advantage, I'm craving more horror in the city that never sleeps. Especially after my most recent New York trip, I get why so many horror flicks are set there. That city is beautiful, but a bit stressful. This whole premise for the Crawl 2 sequel sounds very similar to what's going on in the 47 Meters Down franchise right now. The sequel in that series also focused on brand new characters who face a different kind of danger than in the first film. It's all still shark related and most importantly profitable. That's why a third film is currently on the way. I'm hyped for Crawl 2 personally. Alligators attacking residents in New York City, probably during a flood. Sign me up, dude. 4 new stills have been released from the upcoming Beetlejuice sequel, Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Let's talk a little bit about them. First off, we have Beetlejuice looking directly at the camera, I think, in this picture, sitting next to 2 recently deceased. On the left, we see a crazy cat lady who was likely eaten to death by her adorable little kittens. And on his right, a fellow who has a mustard stain on his shirt and hot dogs protruding out of his mouth. I hate to be so presumptuous, but I think this dude lost the hot dog eating contest. You gotta be alive to do that, I'm pretty sure. In photo number 2, we see Lydia Dietz with her daughter Astrid, likely talking about her crazy and spooky past. I think the inciting incident of this movie will come from Lydia Dietz telling her daughter not to say a certain phrase 3 times. You should never tell a kid not to do something. All they're gonna want to do is do it. In picture number 3, we have Lydia getting hot and heavy, potentially, with Justin Theroux's character. Uh-oh, Beetlejuice, you got some competition, my guy. And then last but not least, we see Tim Burton himself directing Jenna Ortega, doing a little point. As most directors will tell you, 90% of the job is pointing at things. I'm very excited for the Beetlejuice sequel. As a huge fan of the original, this movie can't come soon enough. The film releases soon on September 6th of this year. Go get your tickets and check this bad boy out in the theaters. As a lot of you know, the Megan universe is expanding with the sequel arriving next summer, but there's also another spin-off film coming at the top of 2026 titled Soulmate, and yes, there is an 8 where the A is supposed to be. That's how we do things in the Megan franchise. It's just been announced today that Lily Sullivan from Evil Dead Rise will star in the film. As a reminder, the plot description for Soulmate reads, in an attempt to create a truly sentient partner, the man inadvertently turns a harmless love bot into a deadly soulmate. The film, arriving on January 2nd of 2026, has been described by director Kate Dolan as being a 90s style erotic thriller with a new technological twist. My guess is that Lily Sullivan has been cast as the deadly soulmate. My only real reference for Lily Sullivan has been her leading role in Evil Dead Rise, so it's gonna be really cool to see her play an antagonist this time around in this new movie. I hope this one rocks. It's been another tug-of-war weekend for Scream fans as we're hearing more and more made-up rumors. Man, some of these fake accounts just flat out suck, taking advantage of this wonderful fan base. Before we get to that though, let's talk about good old Dewey Riley. In a new interview with David Arquette, he discussed having FOMO, which is fear of missing out for those who don't know, as the Scream franchise continues on, saying, I'm really excited to see what Kevin does since he wrote the first one and he's such a great filmmaker and artist and writer. How he understands that world, it'll be interesting to see his take on it and bringing the whole original crew back together. It is a very FOMO moment. He also talks about his grieving process with the character that is both sad and funny.
Cut deep.
We will certainly miss old Dewey in this new entry. Speaking of cast members who won't return for this new entry, Jenna Ortega spoke up recently regarding Melissa Barrera's firing. Ortega says, the business that we work in is so touchy-feely. Everybody wants to be politically correct, but I feel like in doing that, we lose a lot of our humanity and integrity because it lacks honesty. I wish we had a better sense of conversation. Imagine if everyone could say what they felt and not be judged for it, and if anything, it sparked some sort of debate, not an argument. I couldn't agree with Jenna more here. I was even saying when it happened this past November that had these two entities actually sat down and discussed the situation, Barrera probably wouldn't have been fired. The company claims one thing, but I think Ortega is highlighting what's actually going on here. The company just didn't want to offend its fans and ousted her, which I just think is ridiculous. Spyglass ended up ticking off its fan base anyways, with many folks continuing to be outraged on social media about the firing to this day. We even had a fake report from this past weekend claiming that Barrera was returning to the franchise. Scooper Daniel Richtman has shot this down, and anyone who's been following these reports should know this is highly unlikely to happen. Spyglass has made some career-threatening claims about Barrera that are absolutely baseless. I don't think she'll ever work with the company again after that mess. I hope she continues to find work, however, as I think she's a phenomenal actress. She made Scream 6 especially so damn special. As for entry number 7, I still have my doubts considering all of the production issues. Frankly, anyone who doesn't is a bit blind to the situation. I'm still excited to see what Kevin Williamson does, however, basically having complete control now, but let's hope it's a story that's worth telling, placing the original Final Girl back as the focus. We had a few small but exciting updates for the most anticipated horror film of the year this past weekend, Terrifier 3. Co-founder of Bloody Disgusting, Brad Miska, recently stated that he was working on the Terrifier 3 trailer and that it's a monster. Terrifier 3 writer-director Damien Leone seconded this by saying that the full trailer was coming soon. The response to the latest Terrifier 3 teaser has been overwhelmingly positive, but some fans are already itching for more. No worries, folks, we will see something soon enough. I just hope it doesn't show too much before the film's release on October 11th in theaters. Leone also posted about the runtime for Terrifier 3, saying he can't confirm anything yet, but can say it's shorter than Terrifier 2. He then asks the Terrifier fans if they're happy with that or if they wanted 5 hours of Arthur's madness. I think you all know what camp I fall into there. I could watch a 6-hour Terrifier film and still not be satisfied. For the most part though, I think this is for the best. A tighter film will draw in a larger audience and might feel more concise. Personally, I like the insanity of Terrifier 2's structure, but some folks miss the shorter runtime of the original. Like I've been saying for a while now, Terrifier 3 is going to be a blend of elements from both of the previous films, but takes place on Christmas. I can't wait for it. We also had some interesting developments regarding the Little Pale Girl, a character that's been shrouded in mystery basically since the Terrifier 3 marketing began. I did a video recently covering the Little Pale Girl and why she might be absent from the new film. Emily McLean, who portrays the character, has yet to be confirmed, and there has been no sight of the character in any of the marketing thus far. McLean has been attending many horror conventions though lately, including a meet and greet with specifically the Terrifier 3 cast, so new members too. Maybe she's in the new film and we just don't know it yet? I think maybe. She's clearly an iconic part of the Terrifier image. I mean, look at this new Living Dead doll of the character. There's still still selling merch based on her to this day. I feel like she kinda has to show up in the movie, even if for a moment, but if you want to hear me talk more on the subject, check out this video here. Before we wrap up today's update video, I'd like to ask you all to please subscribe to my gaming channel Golgotha. It would be dope to finally monetize this bad boy soon, so please go subscribe now to see me poop my pants playing scary games. I also want to thank my wonderful Killjoy cult members that continue to support this page. I wouldn't be able to continue making these goofy little updates without you all. Please consider signing up to receive exclusive rewards by clicking on the link in the description of this video or by pressing the join button on my page. Thank you all again for your support. Which update from today's video has you the most excited? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all again for watching, please subscribe, and don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.